Hello, and welcome to another video. And I'll be trying to alternate these videos between stuff that is like more general stuff. For example, the you should have kids one, or the delete social media, which are the best two performing videos I have lately. That I am really humbled by the amount of people that watch the videos and that like them, and thanks a lot for that. And the other more personal videos whereby it's just like me talking about stuff that I like, right? Which obviously will involve games a whole lot. And this is the first playthrough on the save file, so we'll have the animations, which is fine. These animations are great. I think Star Fox 64 for me is... This is running on an emulator, it's running on with the 64, but... and I'll be playing with a Switch Pro controller here. But having this on the actual N64 is obviously a little bit better. But either way, this game is very, very good. It's one of the games I played the most when I was a kid. There was this magazine, they held a contest, which was who could submit scores, highest score, for Star Fox 64, and I played a bunch when I bought that issue, and then I submitted a picture, like I actually took a picture of the TV and sent in the phone, and I got second place on that, like nationwide. I was really proud of that. Obviously, nowadays I can look up stuff on the internet. I see that, well, it was a good score, but it wasn't like, wow, this is insane. And I'm already prefacing this, so if I don't play too well, then it's because of the controller, right, guys? Of course, so it's not my fault. Yeah, so Z is right here. Okay. So today we'll be talking about AI, and it's a very hot topic right now, obviously, right? Everybody's talking about AI. It's the biggest thing. With good reason. With good reason. It's for sure a big innovation. And people are rightly very worried about, well, is AI gonna take my job? Am I safe? What's happening here? Really depends on the industry that you work at. If you should be more worried or less worried. But this video is more of a, yes, a hopeful. Kinda wanted to boost here, but I don't have the C buttons quite right. How do I? Okay, so hang on. I don't know how to perform a somersault, but we'll figure that out as we go. Alright. I'm gonna do the usual path that I do. Well, at least I'll try. Oh, that did hit? Okay. Well, I guess we're screwed. My C right is not working for some reason. The C down is working on the right analog, but not the C right. Well, that's okay. So I work in IT, as I have mentioned a couple times. What? It's... Oh, it's to the left. Oh, that is very strange. Okay. And as you can imagine, people in general IT rounds have been very excited about AI generally. And people are trying to put that like everywhere basically. So every product that is getting launched these days, I worked in 3 companies after ChatGPT was launched, and every single one of them there was someone that was like, how can we integrate AI, and all these meetings, you know, and all these reunions with stuff from vendors that's like people from AWS and from Google and everything trying to sell, hey, this is our new AI powered product, and this is just the latest and greatest on... Okay, so this... Okay, I figured out how to do the U-turn. That's good. There we go. Very hard battle. I don't even mind because I usually go to meet you on the second stage, so that's fine. And so I see in programming rounds, especially, which is where what I frequent most on Reddit, on like programmer subreddits and programming channels, people very worried about how AI is gonna destroy programming or is gonna destroy jobs as a whole. Like designers are very worried, and people that deal with art are very worried, and everybody's just very concerned that their job is going to be taken by AI in the near future. And well, as someone that has extensively used AI for the past, I want to say 1 year and a half, not sure the time frame, but well, ever since ChatGPT came out with the professional subscription, and ever since then with like several both private and public LLMs that I have used, I am trying to make this video in a way to make you a bit, reassure you a little bit, at least in the near future, that it's not as bad as it may seem from what you have seen reported elsewhere, right? So I'm gonna deal mostly with my area of expertise, of course, which is what I have more contact with, but I'll try and talk about other jobs that could be affected as well in the limited experience that I have on that, right? So yeah. So let's start talking with IT and programming and SRE jobs first, and then we'll move to other kinds of jobs. And if you haven't used AI that much, or if you have, I don't know, just gone into ChatGPT 3.5 or whatever, the free one, and you go in there and you use a little bit, and then you may seem, wow, this is insane. I just type it in here, and it answers basically any question I have. That is just absurd. And it's really cool. I do agree it is. Okay, use a bomb. Let's do that. Especially when you use it the first time, it's like really, really impactful. So the first time I used ChatGPT, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this is gonna change everything. And I was already foreseeing how many jobs people were going to lose because of that, you know? And the more I use it, the less I feel like my initial impression was actually correct, if that makes any sense. You know, because, well, I'm not gonna explain exactly how LLMs work, which is what I'll be mostly talking about here. But it's a probabilistic model, right? So essentially it takes your question and then it processes it and sees, well, you asked, I don't know, what color is the sky? And then it'll say, well, from the base of knowledge that I have over here, the most likely answer to that question is blue. And so it will answer not just the word blue, of course, but it will answer a coherent sentence that gets you hopefully the correct answer in that situation, right? And for whatever question you may ask, it's gonna have a coherent answer, but not always correct. So if you haven't heard of, for example, something that they mentioned that is called hallucinations, that happens a lot with AI, especially as you start talking more and more with the model as the conversation progresses. What happens is that it starts making stuff up, you know, after a while. There's like this, if you start pressing the model on stuff, it may kind of give up and say, well, you know what? If you go into this website and type this, or if you're using this library, then you can type this parameter and it'll happen. And if you go to the documentation, it's not like that at all. And you feel kind of a dummy when you fall for it. And then you start becoming more and more careful, you know, of that. You're like, well, maybe it's not telling me the whole thing, you know. And after a while, you actually start. I'm not gonna go as far as saying that you lose more time than you gain, because that would be kind of a one-sided thing to say. But definitely there were several situations where I started doing something using ChatGPT, for example. And I was like, well, this is gonna be great, it's gonna save me so much time. And then I actually wasted so much time correcting ChatGPT and actually doing my own research because it suggested stuff that didn't actually exist. I was like, well, was it really worth it, you know? Seems like I wasted more time than I actually gained in this whole situation. Well, let me focus here for a little bit. There you go. The first time I got this warp, I seemed like so bizarre that such a place existed in this game. But it does exist. It's really cool. It's a warp zone to Katina. But yeah, the more you work with LLMs, you see their flaws, and it gets really irritating after a while. And so if you haven't used these models a whole lot, let me tell you that it is not all that, you know, it's not all that's cracked up to be. Now, that really depends on the amount of accuracy that you need with what you're doing, right? So if you, for example, are doing programming, which is usually what I do, then programs can only be like correct or not, right? You don't have like a halfway correct program. So that is kind of a bad application, ironically enough, of an LLM, because what happens is that you end up having to correct so much of the output that you get that sometimes you don't even gain time. You just like, especially if you are well versed on the topic that you're asking about. Now, of course, there are other subjects that they're really good, and I guess it's kind of like journalism. You may have seen or had this impression before that if you are trying to, if you're watching a news report on something, let's say we're watching a news report on something that's a medical subject, right? And you're not a doctor. And you take as fact everything that's being told on the report because you don't know jack shit about that, right? So for all you know, they're saying correct stuff. And when you see a report on some subject that you actually know about, for example, gaming is a very good subject for most of you that are watching this video, I would imagine. So if you watch a report on games, oh, this violent game that has been released and kids are destroying their lives by playing this game. And if you actually play the game, you're like, man, it's not like that at all. Like, these guys are making a bunch of stuff up. What's going on here? And that sort of thing happens a lot when you are dealing with news reports. And it's kind of the same thing if we are dealing with LLMs and with AI in general, currently. So I'll prep, this is a very good video that will be outdated in a year or so, hopefully not. But right now, my experience is that the more you know about some subject, the worse it is to use AI and LLM to help you. Because the more you see the inconsistencies. Now, for stuff that you're not well versed on, which in my case, for example, is art, like if I want to generate an image, or if I want to, let's say, translate some text, or if I want to, let's think of another example. I can actually get the medal here, right? I need 150, I think. So if I'm programming something in a language that I'm not well versed on, so I program a lot in Python, for example, but sometimes I need to do some corrections on, I don't know, some Java code. And ChatGPT will spit out something for me. And I mean, I don't know any better, right? For all I know, that's correct. And so I just copy and paste it. And sure enough, there's a bunch of errors. And I'm sitting there like a dumbass debugging that for like hours on end. And yeah, it has this inverse relation on the more you know about something, the worse of a job it does for you. And yeah, so I would say that it's like I was thinking in the past that it was like kind of like having a junior programmer with you at all times, which is like this guy that has just like come out from college and you can ask him to do some basic stuff like some I don't know, very manual task, and it'll do it for you. But if it's something that is more analytical, then it's not doing such a great job. But you know, actually not even that, to be honest with you, because there's not much critical thinking. So there's the research aspect of it is not that good. Hatches are open, guys. The hatches are open. Let me destroy 3 hatches. And yeah, even the stance on like, yeah, having ChatGPT is kind of like having a junior programmer with you at all times. It's not even that, man. It's not even that. So if you're like doing some sort of IT college right now and you're thinking, well, man, it's over, like ChatGPT is going to destroy all of our jobs, and then there's the VS Code extension and all that, and like, why am I even bothering? You know, it's not that bad, man. It really is not that bad. Now, what I'll say is that I have seen that people have been moving more towards like hiring people with higher education rather than like bootcamp stuff and all that. So that's something to consider. But let's move to other subjects now. For example, if you are in the arts and like general drawing and video creation, editing, all that kind of stuff. Now, this is an area that I have far less experience on, right? And so for me, since I don't know anything, I mean, an AI generated image is very obvious that it's an AI generated image, right? That nobody's getting fooled by that. For the most part, if you have people in the image, I guess it's easier. But if it's like a scenery or something, then it's harder to detect. But now, I'll recognize for sure that for most applications, people have this like good enough sense of, well, you know, I can see that it's an AI generated image, but that's fine. And so I don't know exactly what's going to happen to the art industry as a whole, and people that like do 3D modeling and that kind of stuff. I know several game companies that have started using AI to, for example, upscale textures or generate images, or like have NPCs that talk to the player in real time. That's a very cool application, for sure. And yeah, like that is... I guess there is some variation on the areas that will be more or less affected in the short term, right? For sure. So yeah, now I really think about it, I don't know, man. If I was doing, I don't know, some university course on art, I guess art in itself is like more generic in the sense that just destroy this guy. Like art history, you could work at a museum or something, right? I guess there's that. But if we're talking... If we're talking just drawing stuff for a living, if you're a famous artist, I guess you're okay. But if you're not, then you're not okay. So there's that, right? Let's see what else. I have some topics here as per usual. This is a very engrossing game for me, so sometimes I lose my train of thought. Now, office jobs in general. That's an interesting one because there has been some replacement on that field for a long time now. So if you have a job that you're just like sitting down in a chair and crunching numbers, dealing with Excel sheets and all that, that has some potential for I wouldn't say replacement, but to speed up the job that you do, and that would affect more number crunching positions, right? So let's say you had to like parse all these spreadsheets to get to some conclusion and then total up the numbers and then do some business analysis on that. And then there has been a lot of tools that have been introduced over the years to help with that. And with some automated analysis using AI, that's one more thing that you have to help with that and make it less of a pain. So will people lose jobs in those areas? You know, I think yes, but I don't know if it's all that, especially management is thinking that's going to be, that, oh, I'm going to be able to fire all these data analysts and middle managers, and I'm just going to have the AI process my sheets and my data at the end of the month and come to conclusions. Because once again, there's the hallucinations, there's the fact that you have to double check everything that AI does generally, and that's doubly worse if you're dealing with like an actual business, right? So maybe
Don't get too excited. Here we go.
let's see what else.
Watch yourself, Fox.
I have some other actual real world scenarios here that I think are very interesting. For example, there's the whole self-driving cars. That's something that has been promised for a while now, and I guess we're yet to see anything significant in that regard, So can I just? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I wanted to throw a bomb there. Well, those I suck. So people have been promising these self-driving cars for a while now, and I guess it really depends on where you live. I know that in San Francisco and in LA, I think, in the bigger US cities, right? They already have some application of that, but there's some also not so good things happening, right? So maybe it will run over a kid on the street or something like that. So it's not foolproof right now, and by law, if I understand, you actually have to have both your hands on the wheel, which obviously is a very good idea.
Location confirmed. Sending supplies.
Now, if you work, I would say more real life type jobs, for example, if you are a plumber or if you're an electrician, then I suppose you have a bit less to worry, or a lot less to worry actually, because here they come. There we go. I don't think I'll be able to get the medal. Yeah.
This is the enemy.
Not looking like it.
Andross is an insane fool.
Data analysis complete. Here it comes.
Maybe it's an arm. Aim for the arm.
Yeah, not the shooting speed that I used to have, unfortunately. Can I reach it here? No, it's gonna spin around, yeah. Or it's gonna be the wave. Yeah. But yeah, for these more actual real life jobs, I guess you have more of a leeway, It's gonna be quite a while until you get replaced. However, for example, in fast food, I know that they have these robots that they have start implementing, right? So, hang on. There we go. So we have the famous Flippy, where it's just like frying burgers by itself and doing fries and all that. And I guess that's a reaction for the rise in not only inflation but also minimum wage in several states. And here in Brazil, it hasn't begun implementation in earnest, as I understand it. Maybe it has in bigger cities. I don't know.
I've taken a few hits.
But of course, it's a matter of time before it begins, because people will want to like save on salaries and all that. So yeah. So I guess if you work on fast food, then I suppose that's something that is going in a bit. So definitely varies by field. Now, there's several industries that obviously they are very human centric, so you really can't replace. For example, imagine a psychologist, for example, right? Someone that absolutely want an actual person to listen to you and hear what you're thinking and give you actual advice and all that. So in terms of like healthcare professions, I guess it depends. There are already some robots that I use for surgery. which is for the most part a good thing for the precision and all that they have. But for actual diagnostics, it really depends. Right? This is my all-time favorite mission, and I absolutely love the Landmaster.
I spot the train.
It's my favorite vehicle in the whole game.
Here comes a little hyena now.
Great. Don't you get the
They're not taking me serious.
ZNR, right? Yep. It's so weird to play this game on a
Just shoot it.
not an actual N64 controller, but we'll make do. For nurses, for example, is something that's very unlikely to be replaced, right? In the short term.
Hey, there.
I like this mission so much, man. It's one that I'm probably gonna focus a little bit more. This is my favorite mission the whole game.
Try hovering.
There you go. Very nice hit +4.
Sea cat for real, do you?
And I think this is the best enemy in the game as well. The monkey here. It's a monkey, right? I don't know. It's very fun. Let's see if I can get all the hatches. There we go. Very nice.
Shoot! He's right behind me.
Come on, Falco, please, man.
I guess I should be thankful.
Yes, you should, man. There we go.
What's wrong? Come a little closer.
Let's see what else I got here. Yeah, if you're beginning on your career, what I found is that you can use AI very extensively to gain time with a bunch of stuff. So that is a very powerful application that you have for it. So subjects that I am kind of learning about, I'll sometimes research on them initially using an LLM, and then get some initial understanding of what's going on there, and then I'll move forward with my own research. So that is a very nice application, I think.
I see the fuel bunker on the right side. Take the switch
Right,
ahead.
let's focus on the switches now, guys.
Shoot the 8 switches to open the lock. Location confirmed. Sending supplies. I didn't expect to have you this. You're very lucky.
This is the switch that I always missed. The switch number 5. It's so hidden there to the side.
I'll lure these guys to the front.
Enemy shield analyzed.
Now, one thing that I do besides working on
I'm here to rest.
IT, well, I guess in addition to, right? Search it. Okay, now I have to just shoot the searcher. Coming, yeah. That was a nice dodge, man. That was a nice dodge. No, no, no. There we go.
Good going, Buck.
Very cool. I love this animation, man. Let's watch it.
No! Get the blade! Okay, stop it!
And there's the hit +50. There we go. So you can really use that to expedite your learning on a bunch of stuff. So, for example, in terms of like learning, let me think of something that I learned recently. I have done some implementations in Kubernetes. For example, the GitHub self-hosted workers. I don't know much about that, And so I did some initial reading, and then I inquired ChatGPT quite a bit to get some more insight. And then I kind of skipped a lot of documentation reading, which would take me a long while. And then I did some mix and match on like implementing stuff myself, getting stuff from it. It was inexorably incorrect, and then I had to make a bunch of changes. But it was nice in the sense that it was something that I didn't have a firm grasp on, and so it was more of a 50-50 of me getting something in return and then having to do some learning on my own on that. And now this is very interesting when you start to think about schooling and universities, because as you know, people have been using LLM, ChatGPT, and all that to make university papers even more and more since 2023. And even if there was a very recent video by Upper Echelon where the likelihood of terms that ChatGPT uses a lot appearing on articles has risen dramatically since 2023. And so, you know, it's something that you really can't help. And there's these detectors that people are trying to make all the time and trying to use. I guess it's that hit or miss, you know. I could always go back and then try and undo some of the ChatGPT work to make it less obvious. This is this better than Macbeth? Possibly. Area 6 is another insane mission. Man, this game is so good. Jesus fucking Christ. I am... Every time I play Star Fox 64, I am amazed by how good this game is. And this mission is super intense too. I should have. Oh, I wanted the bomb. You know? Can't have everything. Oh, incoming missiles.
Incoming enemy missile!
Shoot them down, we're being marked. One time I could defeat Explodo 5 missiles, but very rare for me to do it. I usually can get 4, like I did here. Now it's Peppy. Getting wrecked by these. Oh man, if you stopped. You're such a dumbass. Maybe. That was a terrible one by me, man. Like, let me tell you. It's interesting, every time I start one of these videos, on the earlier stages I have a much easier time talking, obviously. But then as the game progresses and I get to the later stages, I have to focus like so much more that it gets hard. It gets really hard to talk and... Freaking B, man, come on. There you go. The last line has been breached. But I already have the next subject in my mind here. Just needs a little breather here to... Nope, I don't want an extra life actually.
We're gonna break through that fleet.
Now this is a good bomb spot if I recall correctly. Yeah. Absolutely. And another.
Great Fox will cover you. Fire! Fire! Don't let them through!
And this...
Venom's right there!
Come on, Zippy. Don't die on me, man.
Location confirmed.
Nope. I got the life. Wow, that's on me. I kind of wanted to keep the 3. The 2, actually. I can use all bombs now.
The last line has been breached.
There's no point anymore.
These guys are crazy.
Dang, deploy it now.
Deploy it now.
One thing that I think about a lot is how AI and GPTs in general are going to impact
We were so
lower education. So my kids are starting to learn to read and to write right now, so it's a bit early. Hasn't affected them too much just yet. But I imagine what's gonna happen in a bit when like they get some homework, and then it's gonna be like, well, I can just go in here and type, hey, ChatGPT, can you solve this for me? And then it's gonna be like, sure, here you go. They're not actually gonna do any homework, and so what happens then, you know? It's oh, there you go. So that is something that the schools are going to have to adapt greatly, and I don't know exactly what people are going to do with that, to be honest with you, because you can't really pretend that it doesn't exist, right? It obviously exists. And actually, the best course of action, I think, is to teach kids and people that are coming to the job market right now how they can best employ this to their advantage. So, like telling someone that is in college, for example, even on computer science or engineering, well, you shouldn't use this at all because it's going to hamper your learning, and that is very true. But at the same time, what do, man? If you're going to do everything manually, what's going to happen is that your that's the fake. There we go. Is that your fellow students and eventually your co-workers, man, they're just going to run rings around you. Because you can make up a lot of time by using these tools like correctly, you know, like not overusing, not making them do their job for you. It's not all that, but the rate at which you have to press fire hero A is very precise. You can't just like spam the button. You have to press and then three lasers go out and then you press it again. So there's some concentration there. And so yeah, that's something that I'm still thinking about. Like I have given a PC to my youngest son, to my son, and my daughter. I think I'll give one to her this year or next year at the latest. Thinking about building a dedicated room so that they don't have access to it the whole time.
say your prayers, Android.
But what do? I'm gonna present them with a
Don't get too cocky, Starfox. Let's see how you handle our new ships. Too bad Dad's not here to see you fail. We'll make sure you
kind of screw there.
We'll just see about that, Star Wolf. You guys don't give up.
It's Wolfrite. Seems like it, yeah.
Give it up. You can't win. I can't break free.
Down, Peppy. We're coming.
Boss, get this guy off me.
Hang on. Everything will happen in due time.
I've got a better ship.
Come on, there we go.
Can't be happening.
Let's Pigma down.
Knock it off, Hawk.
Come on, Peppy. I already saved you from Pigma, man.
Really starting to tick me off.
Bro,
Get to the
Sleeping?
pond, Froggy.
where you at? Okay. There we go. Andrew's done. I think this is Leon, right? Probably.
Not yet. The party's just begun.
Gonna be a wolf coming at me.
But I'm better.
There we go.
Strong.
Now we just need to get wolf. If anybody would help me, that'd be really cool. There we go.
No way.
I don't believe it. Now, how will I introduce this correctly to them is something that I've yet to figure out, you know? And I guess nobody knows at this point. That's the real thing that's going on here. Like, because your kids are going to use that for homework and for learning. What's the correct way to do that so you can actually learn, but at the same time not hamper you in the future job market? And what does the future job market look like, right? So that's another question as well. So there's a lot of doubts in everybody's minds these days, I think. Understandably so, and in mine as well, right? So everything that I'm saying in this video is more like relating to you that's watching this video, probably between you're 18 and 25, 30 years old, and if you have kids, that. But yeah, if you're older, or sorry, if you are, I don't know, younger even, or if you're thinking about how your nephew or your kids are going to come into the job market, that is something that is far harder to know currently, I think. I guess everybody just winging it at this point, you know. Man, that was like terrible round. Jesus Christ, both were really bad. Please, come on. Oh, there we go. Definitely harder to aim with this. With this controller. Definitely. There we go. There's a quick way to defeat the eyes, but I don't quite recall how to do it. The brains to rule like that.
So, Andross, you show your true form.
What I'm doing here is just doing a quick. Then we just immediately break to throw them off. And just go for the double whammy here. Double hit +5. Come on. Okay. Now, what do I do here? That's what I like when you're just like you force him to continuously teleport. Oh, I'm out of boost. Well, that sucks. There we go. There we go. Very, very, very clean fight. Very nice.
Don't ever give up, my son.
Father?
Man, this is so good. Jesus Christ, man. First time I did the stop route, I was like, what the fuck, this game is great. This is probably the game I replayed the most in my entire life, to be honest with you. I used to beat this game like 3-4 times a day when I rented it. I never actually had the cartridge for this game, but I used to borrow it from friends or rent it, which is kinda crazy for how much I played the game and I never actually thought of buying it, but you know.
Never give up. Trust your
Oh, yeah, you know. Tell me. This is not looking good, man. Kinda making an easy escape into a hard one. It's mostly the controller, but we're good, we're good, we're good. I just wanted to give you guys some
come so strong.
emotion right at the end. And there we go. There we have it. That is Star Fox 64. We're obviously gonna watch the full credits, but while we watch it, we can finish up this subject. So this video is kind of all over the place, you know? Which I guess is bound to happen in all my videos, to be honest with you, because not writing scripts has this tendency of you just getting distracted and start talking about stuff, you know? But, I mean, if you like it, I guess you're here for it, and if you don't like it, you're not watching the video anymore, so that's fine. And, yeah, I'll tell you guys that it is hard to predict the future right now. Like, if you were to ask me 5 years ago how I think the job market and in general IT, which is where I work, would be, I have a pretty clear sense of it, you know? I went through like when we had physical servers and data centers and then virtualized servers and then containers and all that. It was kind of a logical progression from everything, and also in programming languages and all we were doing generally. And all the ancillary things that were happening on the internet and on design work and everything. But now things have changed. They for sure have changed. And what I have seen from AI so far is not terribly worrisome, you know. I wouldn't say that in any companies that I have worked previously or right now, we could just like up and, you know what, let's fire half our team and substitute them with ChatGPT Pro subscriptions or the GitHub Copilot or whatever else, Devin, that they're coming up with in a while, right? And yeah, that's gonna be fine. Because there is a lot of stuff that doesn't come out as you expect currently. And I mean, there is expectation that I think ChatGPT 5 will come out this year, right? And stuff with Google Gemini. And, you know, these are tools that help us a whole lot, for sure. But if you're starting out your career right now, I wouldn't be discouraged in thinking, well, it sucks to be me right now because I'm not going to be able to find a job and nobody's going to need programmers, like the guy from NVIDIA said, right? I don't see that happening at all. As the tools that exist currently are evolving, right? Of course, very well tomorrow someone could come up with something completely revolutionary where you just say the one thing in plain English and it understands and builds for you, but you know, I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you. Now, the thing that I'm more concerned with, to be honest, is how this is going to affect people that are far younger than you and me that are making or watching this video, you know? So people like my kids, your kids, and people that are being born into the world right now. What will the world and job markets look like in 20 years? Now that is very hard to predict right now.
Great Fox is ready to go. It's time for us to go now.
In a way, in a very strange way, I think this video correlates back to the one I did. It was my second video in this style, I think, which was the Small Towns Are Great, whereby I played, I think, Mario 64 in that video. And I think it's always nice to have a fallback plan if you can, right? So if you work in like the information sector and you sense that it's getting harder and harder to maintain your job or to find new jobs as stuff starts evolving, we have to be able to adapt, man. That's a necessity. And moving towards a more physical job, moving towards a market that won't have those kinds of innovations in the shorter term. For example, the whole self-driving car situation. I mean, I for sure can see self-driving cars happening in big metropolitan areas like San Francisco and LA, and here in Brazil in São Paulo or Rio, for sure. But where I live, or in more inland, more smaller towns, right? Way back in the middle America or here in the middle parts of Brazil or in smaller towns in general, You know, I don't quite see that happening so soon for several factors, because sometimes the street is not painted. Sometimes a cow comes through the street. Sometimes there's no signs anywhere, you know? So it's a much more variable scenario where it will be harder to program and less economically desirable as well, right? Because like how much money can you actually gain by providing technology for these smaller markets? So, you know, maybe it could very well be like a delivery driver in a smaller town, you know? Who knows? And yeah. Well, I don't even know how to end this video, to be honest with you, because I want this to be a message of hope, of course, but I do understand that there are some people that are for sure more affected, and not everything will be sunshine and rainbows, and, you know, it's kind of hard, but sometimes it's how it goes, right? And well, if anything, at least, I hope you like this Star Fox 64 gameplay. I for sure liked a lot replaying this game, as per usual. We're gonna input here my classic GRF initials. Where's the R? I think my record back when was like 1800, something like that. Not sure. Usually 170 in Corneria, around 300 in Meteo, 160 in Katina, 110 max in Solar. Macbeth was good, Area 6 was good, Venom is always 227. So yeah, I think I'm off about 400 with the controller and the emulator. Not bad. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.